Hey guys, it's Mike Burns for Severne Windsurfing North America, and today we're going to talk about my favorite windsurf board of all time, the Severne Psycho 2. Now fear not, because nothing about the physical shape itself has changed between the Psycho 1 and Psycho 2. So many people love the Psycho 1 shape that they physically couldn't make it better after 2 full years of R&D, and they stuck with that original shape, and that's what Severne's known for. If they can't make it better, and not just one guy agreeing it's better, like everybody has to say that's better, that's when they change the design. So for the third year in a row, the Psycho 2 picks up right where the Psycho 1 left off. It's the same exact shape, that same magical width, the same perfect volume flow, and it's great for early planing. It's great for freestyle, of course, but it's also good for learning to jibe, and it's great for your first shortboard with the center straps that are forward. It's really easy to get into the straps. This puts you in the perfect position to learn to jibe, and it sets you up to learn the new school tricks and freestyle tricks faster than ever. So now what Severne has changed from the Psycho 1 to the Psycho 2 is they've just beefed it up a little bit. Obviously, the colors have changed. That's the first thing you're going to notice. It's a really cool graphic design. It goes really nice with the new sails, and everything's just like a nice complete package when you're using the Severne Freak with the Psycho combo. It's just a good looking kit on the water. More about the construction. It's the same basic construction method that they were using with the Psycho 1 and with their entire board range, and this is it's unique to Severne the way they do everything. The main part is the compression molding. Then what they do is put 1,000 pounds of pressure onto the board when it's in the mold, and that lets us get all the excess resins out. And you need the resin in there in the first place to coat the carbon and all the different materials in there. What you don't need is excess amounts of it, and it's really hard to manually get a perfect coating of resin on other brand boards not using this process, because when there's extra resin, it just adds weight. There's nothing physically useful to have extra resin in the board, and the compression molds that Severne uses, it gets all of that out of there. So they're actually able to use more strength materials and end up with a lighter weight board. So you have a stronger board coming in at less weight, which is just, again, good for everybody. If you know about Severne, you know that they save weight where they can and make it strong where they need it. And that's what they're doing with the Psycho 2. So they beefed up the rails on the Psycho 2 a little bit. They added an extra layer of carbon, and they also added a little bit of extra carbon on the back of the deck of the board, just for those guys that are skying moves 20 feet in the air, like the pro guys, that I don't think we're gonna have to worry about doing that anytime soon. But the strength of the board is there for if you go and try your first double forward and land it flat, the board's not gonna break in half. All right, so it's a strong board, it's a light board. About the performance of the Psycho 2, it's the same as the Psycho 1 because it's the same shape, it's the same design, so you will get planing super early. It's nice and narrow, and they have a parallel rail outline that they use in the Psycho 2. So most of the brands have a rounder outline in the freestyle boards, and it's good for early planing, but then once you hit those choppy spots, because the board's so wide, they tend to really bounce around a lot. So the Severne Psycho 2 has a parallel rail outline, and what that does is it allows us to keep more width throughout the length of the board, which is equal to the same surface area as a rounder outline. Only when you're up to speed and you're planing, you don't have to worry about those big fat rails bouncing through the chop. And that's the #1 comment I get about the Psycho, is how great the board is in the chop. And that's coming from just, you know, regular people just hand the board off on the beach, and they have no interest in freestyle, but they love the board because it gets going early, it really bites straight along the wind, it heads upwind great, a lot better than even some free ride boards on the market. Now, if you are into freestyle, this is what the Psycho 2 is all about, and there is nothing that I have sailed that can touch the freestyle performance of the Psycho 2. If you're going switch stance and tricks, because of that narrow width, you don't get the bounce and the chop. So when you're lining up and you're trying to switch your feet for something switch stance like a burner or a funnel or one of the other moves where you duck the sail, or you're just riding switch stance, because the board's not bouncing around so much in the chop, you can switch your feet on the board without missing the strap, and it just sets you up for that trick going faster and more, and it gives you a lot more confidence in the trick. every board and sail in Severne's range, just like the Psycho 2, comes with this little handy dandy hex 4 tool. So this can tighten your foot straps, tighten your fin screws, tighten your battens, and open a beer at the end of the day. So it's got everything you need in one little compact tool, and it actually stores right up inside the sail. So if you needed to tighten up your fin or change your fin at the beach, you already have your fin changing tool handy in the water, so you don't have to do those extra walks all the way back to the car. Now, another nice feature on the Psycho 2 is that it has the auto vent plug. So the auto vent plug is there to let the air pass freely inside and outside of the board without the water going in. Basically, the regular vent plug gets closed, and then you go sail, the board cools off in the water, then you lay it on the beach, you go have lunch, and that whole time it's laying on the beach, baking in the sun, that air inside is expanding and is trying to push apart the laminates of your board. So Severne created the auto vent plug, which lets the air pass freely, and since the board is at a constant pressure, we don't have to worry about those layers delaminating like it could in a classic style board with a classic style vent screw. So the vent screw is there or the auto vent plug rather is there to help ensure a long life to your board, because you're gonna love it and we want it to last a long time for you. So that is the Severne Psycho 2. Whether you're a pro freestyler, it's your first day trying to freestyle, it's your first day getting in the straps, or you're working on your jibes, the Severne Psycho 2 is going to have you covered. So take one out for a spin, give it a try. I dare you not to take one home after you try it. And guys, I will see you at the beach.